Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Slaysian Persuasion.
I am Virginia, please.
And I am Calypso. And today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Drag Race Philippines
Slaysian Royale. But before I want to go there,
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge all of the promotion that has came out from all of the contestants after the first episode. Have you seen some of them?
Oh my gosh. Siam
Beginning,
reposted.
all those videos and
yeah.
photo shoots. Where do all of these girls get the money for all of those production? Oh my God.
Right. It's incredible.
No, but
It's
it was
incredible.
fierce. Venus Deluxe, that Manananggal homage to her first season. Did you see that?
No,
with her
I
in the
don't
red,
know.
with a really cinematic video.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
the
yes,
production value is definitely
Oh
there.
my
Each of
God,
these
yeah.
girls are taking their outfits
Yeah.
and just doing the most.
Yeah.
Because that's what they should be doing.
I know Arizona Brandy also came out with a video. And I think Siam Pussy also came out with something, right?
It's not just about a photo shoot anymore. It's
Yeah.
about like making an impact.
They are really taking the level up and away. I must say, it's
Absolutely.
really, really hard to reach. But
Yes.
anyways, time for episode 2.
Yeah, so
Yes.
episode 2. So we walk into the workroom. We're
Yes.
back. This is just when Madame Yoko just got eliminated,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still a little emotional. Siam immediately kind of apologizes. She's like hugging Something Wong, and she's like bracing for impact
Mm-hmm.
because Siam ultimately did decide to send Madame Yoko home.
Yeah.
Siam decided to send Something Wong home
Yeah.
and keep Madame Yoko, and she explained that it was because she felt much more of a friendship
Yeah.
with Madame Yoko over Something Wong.
I don't really think that at this point Siam needed to explain herself. I mean, Drag Race has been there for a while, and this
Yeah.
is usually the case, right?
Yeah, and to be fair, it's so early, so
Yeah.
you really are getting to know everybody. But
Oh, yeah.
last episode they had a moment together where Siam and
Yeah.
Madame Yoko were talking about their backgrounds, and I think maybe that moment was all that Siam needed.
You're building relationships. That's why she had to apologize to Something Wong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think Kiana was being strategic in sending Madame Yoko home and keeping Something, thinking like, you know what, I can beat Something Wong another episode?
I think I believe what she said, that Something Wong was really doing the most.
Doing the
We all can see it, and Kiana did the most as well in her season. Right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was her reasoning was her reasoning. It wasn't strategic.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I thought, well, honestly, both of them, you've seen how both of them have performed, and I think if I was Kiana, I would also be a little strategic in who I'm sending home. Maybe Madame Yoko could have shown a little more or
Yeah.
less. We don't know.
Do you
but
think Kiana really needed to be strategic?
I don't think so. I don't think Kiana has
Between
anything
the both
to
of
be.
those?
No. Kiana, you're right. Kiana doesn't have anything to be worried about. But
Which is
you know.
one of the things I want to talk about later, about how the competition is going in terms of the level of skill that the Filipino contestants have. I mean, I'm not underestimating the
very-
international queens.
Yes.
But I just think that the Filipino girls in this competition are at a different level that they deserve to compete with the very best in the world. That's my perception.
That's your
Yeah.
perspective. And
Yeah.
do you think these are the very best from the world?
I don't want to throw shade.
Okay, no. Well,
But girls, yeah.
I think it's also the home field advantage that I think we discussed a little bit, because they are in their element, they are in their native country, they
Yes.
know everybody. Honestly, some of them could have just driven to the shooting location, with all of their outfits. Other queens would have to, logistically have to pack
Yeah.
everything into boxes and ship it over.
I know.
And, yeah.
But girl, you could see it in the girl group competition, which we
Oh,
will
yes,
talk about later. You
exactly.
could really see like the difference in terms of
Yes,
skill level,
yes.
in terms of the exposure and the number of times. Probably all these Filipino girls have performed already in a
Together
group
too.
setting,
Yeah,
in a
and
group
with
setting.
each other.
Like
They already
Vinya
know
said,
each
in a
other.
production number, you know what I mean? They're very confident, and they were just playing around.
Exactly. So we finish off. We start a new day in the workroom.
Yeah.
Something is kind of energized. She's like, "This is. I need to like show them. She has a fire lit under her, as they say." So they come in, and then So RuPaul comes on the video message, and I thought this was really funny. She was name dropping different girl groups and different
Yes.
Asian bands. So she was saying twice. I think she shouted "Idol." She said a bunch of different things, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? So we kind of got an idea that it's probably going to be the girl group challenge.
Exactly.
And then we go right into the mini challenge, which
Yes.
is inspired by a Filipino game.
Yeah.
Can you explain? And I don't want to just be like, but tell us.
What's the name again?
Kadang.
Kadang,
Yes.
yes. So here's my thing. And this does not only happen with Filipinos. When countries try to feature their culture, they try to feature this really traditional. They really came from the eons ago. And I mean, it does say something about our culture or each of country's culture, but I mean, I think I question like, what do you necessarily learn from that in terms of? Am I getting into something?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think because this isn't just this season. Like every season, they've done some kind of like game.
Yeah.
Whether I think like they've done like musical chairs before. They've done the one where I forgot Alarma, where they like lift everybody. Yes. But I don't think that was a mini challenge. But I'm just saying, it's like there's a rich history of these kinds of like social practices and games and activities that I like how it's being showcased.
I guess I'm very too critical about it.
But so the game is putting coconut shells on your feet and running with them.
Yes.
Like that's the game.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That's the game. Yeah.
So it's a little
nobody
tricky.
does that anymore.
Okay. So it's like an antiquated. I think
exactly.
Would it be like rolling a circle with a stick?
No, I think like if the point was for the audience to learn something about our culture. For sure, you'd learn something that nobody does anymore in the Philippines. But I guess that's part of our culture, right?
Right. Okay. So everybody is in quick drag. They come out. They have the coconuts tied to their feet, and they're running across. And the winners are Kiana again. Mini challenge slayer. Move out, Matilda. So far she is our new mini challenge Slaysian slayer.
Yes.
So she wins, and because she wins, she gets to pick the girl groups because it's introduced that it's girl groups. And she doesn't even finish naming everybody. She picks over the first two girls, and she said, "All the Filipino queens come over here. We're a group."
Do you think that was Kiana's decision or that was an advice from the producers?
I'm curious. If we're thinking about production, I'm like, where did they get these matching outfits? Did they tell all the international girls, come in like bring a pink girl group look? And did they tell all the Filipino queens, bring like a green girl group? Like,
I think it's very strategic because there would seem to be a competition against the Filipino girls and the international girls. That's a good story, right?
Yeah.
That's a good narrative.
Well, even in the top 3 that they had for the mini challenge, I feel like if it was an international girl who won, she would have definitely picked some of the Filipino queens because I think like if I was there, I would have immediately picked Tiana if she wasn't the one picking, right? Because you know that she's a powerhouse, she can write lyrics, perform. So I think Kiana was like, let's just show the world how Filipino queens can be.
Yeah, and this is the point where I started feeling, oh my God, there really is a disadvantage. An advantage for the Filipino girls, and I'm like, why? I mean, why did they even have to go? I mean, I question the competition already. I mean, maybe the Filipino girls, they can compete against each other. I'm not saying the other international girls can't, but I'm just saying, like, there is a disadvantage and an obvious advantage.
Yes, you're right. But I think maybe as the season progresses, I mean, like even last week, there wasn't just one Filipino queen in the top. It was also CM. So it's like, I think there are opportunities. And I think they even mentioned that like what will happen when one of the international girls is the winner. And in the bottom, there might be a Filipino queen. Then you're already setting up that rivalry of, well, let's get rid of them because they're so good.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just I'm very too critical, and when you're there, it's I'm not taking into account all of the pressure and the stress that each girls have to go through, even if you are very skilled and very experienced. At some point, you also break, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. And I think so. They split off into these groups, and one thing immediately, all the Filipino girls are like kikiing with each other. Like that's the first time we can talk to each other in Tagalog and not in English, because it's just amongst them. Yeah. In the other group, it's like very serious. It's like who's gonna do what? Yeah. Who can do this? Who can do that? And everyone's just looking at each other because they don't want to jump up and say, "Oh, I'm a really good dancer. I'm a really good singer," because they don't want to set themselves up. Yeah. So everybody there is just kind of like seeing who wants to talk first, while the Filipino girls are like, "Girl, we got this." Yeah.
I would argue that it would have been more interesting if they were mixed.
Oh yes,
because there would be a challenge in terms of how they work with each other and the level of skill. Like I said, I mean, if you like, it was already obvious in Something Wong's group, not everyone knows how to follow choreography, and thus the difficulty, right?
Yes. I mean, we're gonna get there, like, because they come in and they're already discussing like, I don't know if I want to take responsibility for this solely. Exactly. So then they go in and then they're talking to each other about, okay, so the first international group comes in and they record their verses with Maxi. So I think it's really cool how we get Maxi integrated into this season. Yes. She's already been here for 2 episodes. She's a great singer.
She is the pop star. Drag queen. Yeah.
I've seen her music videos. I've seen her music. Girl. It just stands out. It's perfect.
Yeah, someone told me that during her season is like, if Maxi was there, you would have just backed out already because she is a perfect queen.
Yeah, I mean, she's charismatic, she's super talented, and she was on Queen of the Universe as well, which was the singing competition.
Personality is just on top.
So she comes in. What I thought was really funny in this moment, they had name tags. Everybody had name tags, which I thought was silly. Like, I was like, I mean, it made sense. I mean, logistically, I'm like, how can you know everybody's names? You're seeing them for the first time, but I noticed
like a
that.
retreat.
Yeah, it is. It felt like that because I noticed. I'm like, do they have name tags? I mean, it makes sense. I've always wondered, like, there's no way these like guests coming in know everybody's names, so they have to like maybe. But I thought that was silly. But they record their verses. Something's kind of going off with the vocal. She's like, oh, I can really turn it out.
She can, girl.
And she's like, this is so good. She's like, me, Maxi, and the producer are having such a good time.
Yeah.
We're like really killing it. And she's really feeling very confident about her performance.
She really showed off, and some of the girls didn't like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're intimidated. You're in a setting where you're competing, and you're like, oh, she's really showing off, and she's really popping off.
I mean, it's your time to show off, really.
Yes, true,
when you're there, you have to give it all, right?
And
I mean, you're all, yeah.
So then the international girls are done with theirs, and then the Filipino queens come in. They're all singing. They all do really good. And then here's when the first like drama comes, when the international girls are starting to choreograph.
Yes.
And this is where it gets tough, because if you wrangle 5-6 drag queens together, everybody, when they perform, they are the star.
Exactly.
So coming together and doing anything collaborative is always it's tricky navigating that.
Yeah.
Have you had any experience like doing a group number? Like, have you been in charge of like planning together something?
I haven't been in charge, but but I always try to follow and always try to catch up as much as I can. I mean, I'm not the dancing queen, but I mean, you know, I can dance. But like I said, the skill level and the amount of time you've trained and performed as a dancer really contributes a lot. And I think that's the problem in this group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Kitty and Something are kind of taking the big brunt of it. They're saying, okay, I will work. Kitty's like, I will do the blocking, and then Something, you can do the choreo. And then queens aren't able to do it.
Yeah.
And I've been in this situation too, where it's like, okay, where's everybody's skill levels? Let's just go to the lowest common
You're a really
denominator.
good dancer, girl.
Oh, girl, it's similar. Like, I can do my own thing, but then if it's like learning choreo, learning this, it's like, ooh. I think every drag artist, especially as they perform more and more, they get their own performance style, and they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I just did a dance choreo class the other day, and I was struggling. I was like, I need like 2 hours more, and you can only learn so much when you're in such a time crunch.
Exactly.
But thank you. I can move. That's it. Oh, that's all I'll say.
No, girl, you can dance.
Oh, thank you.
I must say.
But so they're like learning, they're doing their choreo, and then there's changes happening all the time. It's like, we can't do this, I can't do this, we can't do this. And one thing that I really found funny was Something was, back to the recording, Something was giving suggestions to Yuha, and Yuha was like, this is my verse. I don't need you. I don't need your suggestions.
But with a grain of salt.
I think that speaks to like, you're a drag queen, you control everything about yourself. You have a little bit of that diva in you.
Yeah, because I can also suggest that if someone is bugging you about something that suggests that you don't know of, it also catches up on your insecurity and your self-confidence. So it was very smart of her to like shut it down.
It's like, and I think Something was coming from like a genuine place of like, let's make everybody sound good. But at the same time, it's like, you guys don't know, you don't have that rapport. Yeah. So you can't just be like, hey girl, do this. It's like, Yua, sing like this. And like, she was like, we're not doing that. But so then the Filipino queens come in, they do their choreo, it seemed to be very fluid, very dynamic.
They were just laughing.
They were having such a good time.
Yeah.
There was actually I spoke to a Drag Race girl, it was Bombay actually, who told me that coming back for All Stars is like going on vacation with your best friends. And that's what she said that she would want in an experience if she went back for All Stars. And she said if there was an all Canada All Star, she would do it because you're with your friends. And I felt like that's what was happening.
These Filipino girls perform together all the time. And they perform so many times in a month. Yeah. In like really big productions. Yeah. And so that way it was an easy breezy process for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yes, we go right through there, and then that's pretty much it. That's all that happens there. But then we go into it's the next day. They're getting ready for the runway, and there's already a little bit of tension between. I think it was so funny. It was Ivory, Yuha, and Something all having a conversation together, and it was getting heated. And I was like, they are also the bottom 3 for the episode. So it was like foreshadowing when they were like, well, who do you think did the worst? Well, who do you think did the worst? I'm like, girl, all 3 of you were the worst.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who do you believe the most in terms of their claim on who fucked up? Sorry for the word.
Oh no! Who messed up? Who messed up?
Yeah. Something wrong or.
I think it's
You
tricky
are.
because we only see so much,
Yeah.
right? It's like they're doing this for 2 days
Yeah.
and we only see like an hour. We see 16 minutes of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like taking the brunt of the choreo also means that you have to fall. You have to fall. Like if you,
Yeah.
if it's like you falling on your own sword. Like you are taking all the choreo, you're taking the responsibility. That means that you're also going to be responsible if people don't do it well or if it's not that good in the final product.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe there were challenges, but I think that's where communication is really important as a team.
Yeah, I also see something in there that's culturally based. You know, the Western culture is really about individualism, but you know, I will speak for the Filipinos. We are known for the word kapwa, and which means community, and that's why we're so good at collaborating with each other. Yeah, and so we do. There are instances where we don't agree, but most of the time, kapwa prevails. Like we consider each other as part of each other, and that's why it's easier for us to collaborate and work together. Not to say that the state of the Philippines right now is really good. I don't know if it has something to say with a kapwa culture that we have, but I know it's complicated politics and all of that poverty.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really beautiful insight to have. I think that's a very non-Western traditional.
Exactly.
Like that's so many countries and cultures just prioritize. Like you are part of a group. You are not by yourself.
Yeah, I've literally been in a retreat where we had facilitators from the U.S. and from the Philippines, and of course I live here, but I easily blended with the Filipino facilitators. But the U.S. people, they were fighting and they were on each other's throats, unfortunately.
Yes.
I'm not generalizing, but
no, that's your lived experience.
Yes,
That's your lived
yes.
experience. So we go through. They're discussing their shortcomings as a group, perhaps.
Well, before we go there, does India have the same thing?
I would say in my own experiences, I definitely feel like you do so much more for the society and for your culture and for the overall group. There's much more of a I think now it is changing.
Yeah.
I think now as people are moving towards having the nuclear families of just 4 people.
Yeah.
Before it used to be like it was very common to just like move in with your family. Like
Yeah.
if you are married, your spouse would just come live with the rest of your family, and you would live in these really large group settings and group homes. But as industrialization happened and as people like go into modern life, people are mimicking what they see in the West, where it's like, okay, no, you know what, this is my parents' home, this is my grandparents' home, this is our home.
Yeah.
And I think that disconnect. I think there's pluses and minuses.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say.
Yeah, because when you live in a group home, you kind of lose access to privacy. You're kind of like one person is delegated as a decision maker, and there's a lot of clashes that may or may not happen.
Yeah.
It might have been out of necessity back then, but now when everybody has the affordability, everybody has the opportunity to live by themselves, that's what they prioritize.
There's also a societal pressure when you're so community minded. You're pressured to obey and follow what the community dictates, as opposed to when you are when you have an individualistic point of view, you are more free to decide for yourself and not really depend on the rest of the society.
Exactly. And I think the same can be said in a lot of different Asian cultures. I think as it progresses, people are valuing their individual identities rather than for the group.
Yeah. And then the girl group performance happened, the much anticipated. And this is the most anticipated segment in the Philippine Drag Race.
Absolutely. I mean, every single season has produced such iconic songs.
I would say season 1 is still the best.
Boosh! Right? Yeah, literally. I think when I met Turing, the first thing I said to her was, "Boom,
Turing!"
Because that was
Everybody
so iconic.
knows that, yeah.
No, right. I think there was a clip, they even talked about it. They were like, when we were, I think it was, Brigitte was talking about how when she was performing it live, like the energy in that room, everybody's singing along, everybody knows all the word.
Yeah, that was the most iconic one ever. In all of Drag Race franchise, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think they even ranked them internationally, and like it stacks up. You don't even need to know the language to know that somebody like slayed it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there were subtitles for the verses, but I still felt like I enjoyed. I will get there, but like I think like even without the subtitles, you can tell like who is.
The
eating.
energy and the intensity, they all just ate in season 1.
Oh yes, because that I think it was just like we have something to prove. We need to put this franchise on the map, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still talking about Bush, and
Yeah.
Boom, Turing,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah. But yeah, so the international queens come first. The choreo's a little shaky here and there. There's a little bit of out of sync.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is like it goes to what you were saying. There's
The disadvantage has become more and more obvious in the performance.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're right. This style of performance is much more common in the Philippines,
Yeah.
where they're doing group numbers, large-scale productions,
Yeah.
and perhaps a lot of these queens are just used to performing maybe in different spaces, a bar, a cabaret,
Exactly.
where they're just the only person on stage,
Yeah.
smaller stage.
In the Philippines, they have backup dancers. Girl.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
girl, it's fierce. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
Exactly.
because a lot of these queens, I think that's one thing to think about
Yeah.
too. It's like it is one thing to have stage
Yeah.
presence, but you need to know where your stage is.
Yeah.
And for a
Yeah.
lot of these queens, their stages are probably just smaller, and that's
Yeah.
just the reality of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the places that you and I perform are much different than
Yeah.
you know these large scale sweeping
Exactly.
background dances, huge productions, right?
Yeah. But aside from that, who is your favorite in the
Okay.
international?
In the
queens?
international, I
Yeah.
think the top. I don't want to rank them because I think it'll be too much. My favorite was Suki Dolls because my favorite thing was when she like went backwards and she had that hair, the human
Yeah.
hair model
Yes.
was moving,
Yeah, yeah.
and she was like really using everybody. She
Yeah.
was using up the whole space to make a
Yeah.
moment. And I think also Kitty really surprised me.
She's my favorite.
Really?
She's
You
my
like
favorite.
her?
She's like that entrance of her. There's like a
Yes.
drama in it, and also her voice was deep and sultry. I loved it. Yeah.
And I also like how she finished it with a cartwheel.
Yes.
She's like, "Oh, I'm showing you this stunt."
Yes.
So yeah, I think those two were my favorite. So
Yeah.
it was Kitty and
Yeah.
Suki for me. Siam also did great. Our girl, she
Yeah,
did great.
of course, yeah.
I actually do want to talk a little bit about their verses because
Yes.
Siam came in. Actually, even the song itself, Asian A, right? They talk about serving with a side of rice, which I thought was like, okay, here comes the food references.
Yeah.
And then Siam's verse was like, we have mango sticky rice, we have pad thai. And I think it's so funny because from an international perspective, when you think about representing your culture,
Yeah.
oftentimes you think about food,
Exactly.
right? Because
yeah.
even I've studied this, like even when new generations of immigrants come to a country, the last thing to go is food. Like they might assimilate in other ways, but their food culture remains with them. And I think that translates a lot to these queens who are experiencing or doing drag in a Western space.
Yeah.
They go back to food.
Yeah. Can you remember the tune again in the chorus?
The chorus, it was like, no, I can't, but like I just remember it was rice.
It's rice, yeah.
Rice. I was just like rice.
Yeah. I mean, rice is a stereotype, but I don't think any Asian complains about that.
I don't know. I mean, it's like valid. I mean, if
yeah,
there's
yeah.
one thing that unites the entire Asian diaspora, it's probably the presence
Yeah.
of rice in cuisine.
Remember Ariola's performance at Gapara?
Yes.
And I rise up.
Or even like that reminded me, like during that same time period, Eva the Queen on Global
Yes.
All Stars did
Also
a
was
similar
cooking
like
rice,
rice
yeah.
cooking performance.
Exactly.
So it's funny how like our international perspective as Asians is like, let's talk about food.
Yeah.
And in fact, that doesn't even stop with just like the references here. I know so many South Asian drag artists whose names are food.
Yeah. Like
Like,
who?
okay, I'll list them. Like a lot of girls who I know, like in New York, I
Yeah.
was just there for Dragastan. We have Ruavsa,
Yeah.
which means rose syrup.
Yeah.
We have Malai, which means cream. We have Kulfi, which is the type of like ice cream.
Yeah.
There's Masala Sapphire out in Chicago. Masala, we're talking about masala. So there's all sorts of queens who just have food
The
names.
Masala's surname? Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. It's just like means like spice and like
Yes.
like it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
When I was picking my name actually for drag, I was like,
Thinking
I said no food. You can't be food. But when I first started, I was like, what if I did something like curry? Like I was
Yeah.
thinking about like spicy.
There's
and I was
so
like,
many
let's
curry
not.
drag queens.
Right.
huh?
I'm like, let's not do that. Like, yeah.
Who do we know in San Francisco has a food as a name? Sushi Ruleta.
Sushi. I always make this joke. Only in San Francisco will you find a drag artist who is Thai with
Yeah.
the name Sushi Rolita.
Yeah.
I remember when I was
Wow.
doing her show and I was like, that's so funny. And her show's name is literally MSG.
Yeah.
And like we have the rice
Another
rockets.
stereotype that we've acquired.
We have the rice rockets.
Yeah.
We have MSG as a show name.
Yeah.
It's just so funny how like Asian drag artists go
Yeah.
immediately there. But
Yeah.
especially I always thought it was funny. So when I was coming up with drag names, I was like, I'm a South Asian drag artist. No food.
No
We have
food.
to make it not food. But,
yeah. Well, I guess it's the easiest way to be funny about.
Yeah, oh
things,
yeah.
right?
I mean, like it's pun names make
Yeah.
sense in all culture. Every drag artist all across
Yeah.
the world has like names that are play on words or references
Yeah.
to specific things.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting, especially as Asians. I mean, none of these queens have food names.
Yeah.
So to be fair, that's not the case. But Siam is talking about food. Ivory Glaze is talking about milk tea.
Milk tea.
I just thought it was interesting how those references came forward. But the Filipino girls weren't making food references in theirs.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that was a uniquely like, I'm an Asian living abroad, or like I'm pulling food culture to the forefront.
Yeah, it's interesting also how they have, as a group, a different mindset and choice in terms of how they wanted to approach the verse. And it's interesting that the Filipinos did not choose food, but the international queens did. Why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to the idea that when you are a minority, or perhaps you are a cultural minority in the spaces that you are, you think about all the things that are associated with your culture. And a lot of the times food is the thing that is the most popular. I mean, if you go down the street and you ask a non-South Asian person, what do you know about India? What do you know about South Asia? They might, their experience with it might be through food.
Yeah, and I guess the Filipino queens didn't feel the need to reference the food because they're already in the Philippines.
They're exactly. They were too busy talking about how fierce they are. But
These are my sculptures.
I know. I don't want anything to happen to them.
I wanted the Lady Susan because I wanted to go with the theme.
With the theme of the runway, yes, which is perfect. But we'll talk about the verses real quick. So we finished the international queens, and I thought it was funny how they it was seamless between the groups.
Yeah.
It wasn't like clap, clap, clap next. It was like it almost felt like the international queens were opening for the Filipino queens.
See, I told you. You don't say it, but that's what I was talking about.
Right.
Not to underestimate, but I'm just saying the skill level is not the same.
Right, right. Because as soon as they moved to the side and the entrance of the Filipino queens, that was iconic. And then at the very end, they kind of do a little dance battle.
Yeah.
And the international queens are doing their thing, and then the pans to the Filipino queens, perfect sync. Everybody's doing the exact same thing down to the microsecond.
Yeah.
And then the performances are done. But I thought it was interesting how matching outfits.
What was your favorite?
My favorite, from the Filipino queens. Viñas really gagged me. I didn't know that she could do the splits.
She did a split in season 1.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay, I thought
the very last very last part of the performance.
Okay, well, perfect. Then it was a callback. It was a perfect reference. There was just something. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I think she was dragging across the floor too.
Venus is fierce. She does Beyonce performances.
Oh,
yeah,
incredible!
She's amazing.
Incredible. Oh, shout out to you, Venus.
And Brigading as well, especially live. Oh my God, yeah.
Actually, that's interesting because there's a culture of impersonation, especially in Southeast Asia drag. I know in Thailand as well.
Yeah.
I think the mindset is if these artists are never going to come here, we will create the illusion ourselves. Right? Because there's like Gaga impersonators, there's Ariana impersonators. Every queens have more of a onus to do impersonations.
Yes.
Because they can bring that experience to a place maybe that artist can't come.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the bread and butter of drag is because we're lip syncing.
Yeah.
All these pop songs. Sometimes we don't impersonate, but we actually lip sync the songs of all these pop superstars. Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. I think I've never done a impersonation per se.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when you do a song, you are channeling aspects of that artist.
Yeah.
You know, and making it kind of your own.
Impersonation can be a double-edged sword. I mean, because you're expected to like really copy or if not be really funny about it. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for Snatch Game then because I think that'd be interesting to see this mix of queens do a Snatch
Yeah, because
Game.
the references.
Right.
That will be interesting.
Right.
The
That's what I'm
international
thinking.
references. How is that gonna be?
Well,
how are they gonna judge it?
Even like let's think about season 2. I mean, Arizona was Adele.
Yeah.
Right? That was still an international reference, but she was still making it funny.
No, but I'm just saying, will the international queens get the reference of the Filipino queens?
That's true.
And vice versa.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm sure the Filipino
And who's
queens,
judging?
that? Well, we'll get to that episode. We're already thinking ahead. We're thinking way too far ahead.
Yeah.
So then the runway. So time for the runway.
Yeah.
So the runway theme is tech. Movement has to be in your outfit. Some kind of movement. That was the key thing. And what better way to represent that here with the movement of these beautiful sculptures?
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna make a costume with all of these headpieces attached.
Oh, incredible! Oh my God! I was like, wait, how heavy are these?
Just kidding. But do you know the designer Hussein Chalayan? Have you seen the fashion show where all these dresses fold and unfold? It was in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I thought when I saw this segment.
That was the inspiration, you believe?
And I expected more.
Yeah, because it's tricky because that's
Yeah.
such a tall order.
Yeah.
And I think you can only ask all-stars level queens to
Yeah.
execute something like this.
Yeah.
There is a designer here, I believe his name is Cameron. He does something similar
Yeah.
with like mechanical. He recently came out with like a tentacle
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah.
I think movement is so interesting.
Yeah.
But we'll go through the runways. Who are some of your standouts?
I mean,
Yeah.
Suki doll, did she have something moving? I really love the fabric, by the way.
I think her interpretation was she said that she got a very special fabric,
Exactly.
a certain type of organza from Japan.
That's what I thought about it
So
too.
I think that was I think when she heard tech and movement, she was thinking, what can we do like in a very technical way
Yeah.
rather than like technology.
Fabric as technology.
Yeah, because to create
Yeah.
that textile, it probably takes a
Exactly.
lot of innovation.
Research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
I want to have one of those.
no, I was, and I think she said something about
10
like
yards.
moving by itself.
Yeah.
But I think because she was
moves
also
with the air.
moving,
Yeah.
I thought it was moving with the air. But maybe she had like a fan or some kind of element that was moving it.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's open for interpretation.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it was beautiful look, beautiful
Yeah,
look.
I loved it.
And we know that she has that stylistic mind.
Yeah, and she's a designer girl.
Yes.
Yeah, that I really love the dress. And the get up.
Right. Did you have any other favorites that were like that fit the brief more, perhaps, for your taste?
Venus was.
No, Venus was my favorite too. Venus
At
was
first, I was
absolutely my
like,
favorite.
I was biased because tech. I expected like science fiction, like but she came up with the fish
No,
net.
that
I
was my
like,
favorite.
It's not very tech, but when it moved, I'm like, oh, there I get it.
That was
Yeah.
and she hit it because
Yeah.
we couldn't see that coming. Maybe it
Yeah.
was like shock activated or something.
Exactly. That
But
is. I have one of those.
You have one of those
Yeah.
fish?
Yeah, it's
Oh my gosh.
for the cats.
Oh, so as soon as it hits the ground, it'll start moving.
Yeah.
Is that how it
yes,
works?
Yes.
That's let me Gappa. That might be my
Yes.
step down. Me just nothing to do
There
with
you
myths
go.
or legends, but I'm
Yeah.
just gonna throw fish that are attached to my outfit. That was actually my favorite.
She was
actually.
very smart because, like you said, you don't expect it because you're expecting technology, high tech, but she came out with a fishnet, and then when she threw it away, there you go.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think another standout for me, well, a standout in kind of a bad way, Yuha Hamasaki's. Did you see Yuha's? It was, she said that she had another idea
Yes.
that fell through.
She had to leave it with her luggage.
Or
Is that one of those cases where you bring too much and it's overweight and they don't allow you to bring it in?
I would like to see it. If she
Yeah.
still has it, show us.
No, because I heard there's a limit, right?
Yeah. There's probably, I
Yeah.
think sometimes I think for US Drag Race, there's like a weight, like a
Yeah.
literal weight limit.
But you're right. If she has it, she should make a video out of it and
show
then
it to
tell
us.
everybody. This is
Yeah,
what I plan to,
but it
show.
was unfortunate where she was just like a robot. She swallowed a battery. I'm
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know if this was. I don't know what
Yeah.
to say here. But Arizona Ivory had similar rotating pieces on theirs.
Yeah.
Something Wong's was very subtle. It
Yeah.
was just the fingers that were moving.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me of the AI runway on Canada versus the World Season 2.
Yeah.
LaPhil kind of did a similar look where it was
Yeah.
like, if AI interpreted a drag artist, how would it do it? And it was just like all the extra hands, extra fingers. And then who else kind of stood out to you for runway looks?
What was that all about, by the way? All the hands.
Yeah,
What was the reference?
I don't. I mean, even I think one of the judges said it kind of looked like AI. Like, because if you say AI generate a drag queen, sometimes there'll be extra fingers or extra toes or
Yeah.
extra things. I don't know what the reference was either, but I think it was.
If
I
it's
thought it was
that,
interesting.
it's you have to
Really
think
go there.
about it. Yeah, really think
go
about
there.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was a good runway overall. I think it was.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the expectation was just a little bit higher because based on what we've seen internationally
Yeah.
with this kind of
Exactly. I mean, I like brigading, although I really like that in the head, but I thought that. How am I going to say this? Brigading is my friend.
What would you say to your friend?
I would say that she's too young for that sort of get up, and that gives me sort of like this madam,
It ages her perhaps, or maybe it doesn't
ages her.
flatters her.
I mean, it's very good. It's very executed well. I mean, it's perfect and very opulent. But I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, and
You want to see your friend look as beautiful as possible.
because she is.
She is, absolutely. I think sometimes it's okay to take a risk like that and be like,
Yes.
I want to show a different side of my character or show her a different kind of look.
Yes.
So,
What did you think about that, though?
I actually really liked it. I liked the gold. She said mirror, mirrors.
Yeah.
She was something related to that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I
Yeah.
think the Filipino queens really fit the brief.
Yeah. She's
together.
one of the top 3.
Yes.
So my opinion doesn't matter. It's, yeah.
Well, yes. But then they call the end. So the challenge is over. Runway's over. They call the top 6, right? Or the tops and bottoms of the week. So they said that it's not going to be judged as a team. It's going to be judged individually, which is always a little tricky because I feel like it was a clear, obvious who the winning team was.
Yeah.
But I think this makes for more drama.
Yeah.
So the top 3 is announced. It is Brigading, Arizona Brandy, and Viñas Deluxe.
Who would you have chosen?
Actually, I think I would have liked to see Kiana in the top 3. I mean, I agree. I think all of them did really, really well, but Kiana's verse was really good, and she did that slow motion drop, which was incredible. She defies all logic, defy gravity. She does everything.
Yeah.
And I thought her outfit was really good too. So maybe I would have put her in the top 3. But I agree with the bottom 3. We have Ivory, Something, and Yua.
Yeah. I think everyone will agree.
Yeah.
Oh my god! What am I throwing shade so
I
much?
know.
on the
I mean,
international
it's
queens?
okay. It's okay.
I mean, it's a competition, and you can't help but judge because that's the point.
Right?
The point
I
of the
mean,
show.
these are all opinions that are coming out of respected admiration for the show.
Yeah.
And that is what the show is about.
Yeah.
You know, discussing and talking about our opinions.
Yeah.
So they go through, they talk through each of them. I really was like, Kiana should have been on the top, but it's okay. So Mama Pao actually starts it off very spicy.
Yeah.
She says, tell me who did the worst in your group. Which I thought was very a spicy question to ask. Before the critiques even started, she's like, tell me. And immediately, Ivory and Yuha both say something. Yeah. And then something has like a very emotional, she has a reaction immediately. She's like, well, if the choreo was too hard, I should have just said, F you all, and I should have just continued on. So we're already seeing, the judges are seeing that there was some kind of a little bit of butting heads, or there's some kind of issue with the choreography, and something may or may not have been the catalyst for it.
Yeah.
But then when the Filipino queens get the question, they're just so nice and congenial, and they're like, I couldn't name anybody. Until Viñas says, I didn't get Bernie's verse.
I think that's the inherent problem if you gather these Filipina queens who have worked together for so long. You're not going to get any big issue girl because they've already acquainted to each other. They already know each other from head to toe.
Yeah. And I think also strategically, they're like, we're going to present a united front.
And you can see the frustration from Mama Pao's questioning because she was like, we'll just ask Viñas because she's the only person who said something making to an issue. But this is not throwing shade, but did you like Mama Pao's hair?
Oh,
I love the silver thing. And red. And then there's that extra bun on top. I'm like, you probably didn't need that.
As someone, I can see where she goes, sometimes you just want to feel your oats in a human unit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she was feeling. She's like, get me the good auburn red unit, and I'm just going to feel my fantasy.
And when she removed that, the
huge tinsel headpiece.
Yeah, when she removed it and that extra bun, still like the hair looked very synthetic and it looked I don't know if I'm throwing shade again. But what do you think?
I think Mama Pao makes a lot of interesting choices.
Yeah.
But I stand by her choices because I love her. But you're right. I honestly keep the hat on, keep the tinsel on, because that was the most exciting part of the look.
She just didn't need the extra bun.
Maybe that's what was securing that. Maybe, from an architectural point, that bun was what was needed.
What I was thinking is that there was a space in between, so they needed to fill the gap. Yeah, Mama Pao's hair.
Yeah.
But no shade, Mama Pao is so beautiful. Yes, she's very, very beautiful.
And then on the panel we have Maxi and we have Jimbo.
Yeah.
Jimbo's in kind of a pink look and Maxi's in this beautiful orange look.
Yeah.
And then we go on with the critiques. They kind of say, you kind of fell short. Even when you don't know the choreography, they were saying this common theme. They're like, just work it out. Give us your personality, and don't be afraid. Because I think I think when it comes to drag performances, if you're having a good time, the audience is gonna have a good time. If you let it slip that you're not having a good time, or if you feel uncomfortable, then the audience is gonna feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a learning curve into that. I took theater arts, and I also took lessons in dancing and acting. And for a while, I've never practiced those skills because I've concentrated on filmmaking and the corporate world. And if you don't practice it, then you lose the confidence as well. And it really took a while for me to really gain that confidence again. I'm just trying to. I'm beginning to get into that groove again recently. What about you?
When it comes to like performing
Yes,
and that
yes.
style,
Yeah.
same. I don't have any formal background in
Yeah.
anything, but when I was in college, I didn't study anything related to performance, but
Yeah.
I still found opportunities to put myself out there.
Yeah.
It was actually the Boulay brothers who said on a Reddit post somewhere,
Yeah.
this was years ago, before I even started Drag Race, I was reading this. And so someone asked them, what
Yeah.
advice do you have for someone who wants to start doing drag?
Yeah.
And then the Boulay brothers said, get yourself on a stage.
Yes.
Because when you get yourself on a stage, you're going to start developing your stage presence. So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So I found opportunities to present myself in a space,
Yeah.
whether that be like a dance club, whether that be speech and debate,
Yeah.
whether that be doing
Yeah.
student government, like anything that I could do to
Yeah.
get myself in front of people.
Yeah.
I think contributes. You can translate that over to drag.
Yeah, I mean, there are girls who are very natural on stage, but for some of us, we really have to hone that, not just the skill, but just the confidence of being on stage and projecting yourself to your audience. Because, like I said, the audience mirrors how you feel on stage. If you feel, if you feel insecure and you're second guessing, that's what they feel as well.
True,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And vice versa too. If the audience is dead silent and you're turning it, I
Yeah.
feel like your performance kind of goes
Yeah.
down a bit too. 'Cause you're
Yes,
like,
yes, you're
am
right.
I doing good?
Yeah.
You could be the best performer in the world, but
Yeah.
if the audience is just like dead and they're just
Yeah.
quiet and they're not saying anything, not screaming, clapping, then
Yeah.
you're like,
It's an
what am I doing here?
It's an exchange of
So
energy.
it is an exchange,
Yeah,
exactly.
symbiotic.
Exactly. But I think in this specific instance, it's up to the queens competing to give that energy. Because
Yeah.
whatever you give, there is no audience too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
When you're competing on Drag Race, there is no audience.
Yeah.
It's just cameras and the judges.
Yeah, that's really interesting also because culturally there might be a difference because some would say that the Americans are more appreciative than other cultures.
Oh, like when it comes
Yeah.
to being an audience?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, yes, yes. We are more supportive
Mm-hmm.
and we cheer people on as opposed to, I don't know, the Philippines might be more critical. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you performed drag in the Philippines?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah. I have before, a long time ago in 2007.
Wow, okay. Well, many things have probably changed
Yes,
in that
yes,
time.
exactly.
Including your drag, the audience
yes,
too.
yes, definitely.
But that is an interesting point. I
Yeah.
think the thing that comes to mind is like there's concert clips when artists travel different
Yeah.
countries.
Yes.
And some countries are just sitting quietly in
Yeah.
their seats. Nobody is like standing up.
Yeah.
But then here in the U.S., everybody's screaming.
Exactly.
Even if they're in the cheapest seats in the nosebleeds, they are
Yes.
standing up, screaming and dancing.
I think there's a queen who talked about this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because they travel all over the world
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they can compare which audience
That's
is
true,
really
that's true.
the most fun and which audience doesn't give up. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that also goes to it. But that was the main critique that the international girls got. And then we go into the top three. They named the top two winners as Venus Deluxe and Arizona Brandy.
Yeah.
And then the bottom two are Ivory Glaze and
Yeah.
Something Wong.
Girl, when I was watching that battle, I was like, oh my God, this is so epic. These two queens are so seasoned performers.
Yes.
And just the way they carry themselves and tell a story.
Right.
Had almost had the same movements at some points, like the
Yeah.
skin and
Yeah.
they've honed their skill. It's
Absolutely.
very, very, very
And it was very evident,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
know how to. You're right. The storytelling is the biggest
Yeah.
part because I wasn't familiar with the song.
Yeah.
I've never heard it before, but it was very evident that it was a studied performance from both of them.
Exactly.
They were saying like, okay, this is what these lyrics are saying. This is what I'm going to give here. This is what we're going to do here, and it was a good. It was a
Yeah.
well matched lip sync. I would say.
You can see the amount of experience that they've already had in their performance. And I would be so scared to perform against any of those two.
Absolutely, and I think what Venus has, she talks about her mouth.
Yeah.
She has such a captivating mouth.
Exactly.
And I think, if you are a lip sync artist, then the way that your mouth moves
Yeah.
is such a big part of
Yeah.
making a performance, like
Yeah.
taking you above the edge. I think that's what.
Yeah,
that
and
would be
Arizona really banks on her storytelling
Yeah,
skills and
yeah.
capabilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
but-
That was epic.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
great lip
yeah,
sync.
yeah.
But before the lip sync, they're backstage and they're deliberating and they're talking to each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
and they don't have a traditional 1-2 1-2. They're not talking one on one.
Yeah.
Something is very very disappointed and angry.
Yes.
She's explaining that like she was crashing out. That's what was happening. Kind of reminded me of Delta Work
Yeah.
back on season 3 when she was just like, taking the wig off, taking off her hat, like her outfit. She was just very disappointed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was listening to something and I was like, you know what? If a Filipino queen did this, if I interpreted it into Filipino, she would be looked upon as like a really, a queen with a huge attitude that you can deal with. Because in translation, it doesn't sound that nice in Filipino. It sounded like, you're a queen that's really hard to work with.
I see, got it. And maybe that's the vibe that the Filipino queens, because it's 2 Filipino queens picking, and maybe they're thinking about like, who do I want to be in this workroom with next week?
I can't think of any Filipino drag queen who would be in that state. And in translation saying those words, like she was like, fuck them, like, you know. Again, a difference of culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what happens when you mix these queens from different places together. So Vinyas, after she wins the lip sync, decides to send Something Wong home. And I liked her reasoning. When she was picking the lipstick, she said, this queen will thrive in a space that isn't here. Which was like, it's kind of like a compliment, but also kind of like acknowledging the issues that she was having. It's like, it's not taking away from any of these drag artists. It's just like, it's clear that you are going to thrive not here. And that's what basically she said, which I think was a very diplomatic way of saying something, your time has come to an end. And Ivory is saved. Ivory is very grateful. And that was pretty much the episode.
Did you think that the elimination was fair? And I think was right.
I think so. I think it just came down to Something's story. It just come to a close. It's tough being in that situation where she had a lot to prove, and they found the instances that they needed to justify her elimination.
I mean, judging it based on track record, yes, I agree. But in this episode alone, I thought, again, Something Wong did the most and really tried the hardest to stay in the competition.
I see that. In fact, I would argue out of the bottom 3, I maybe could have seen a point for Yua also being there.
Exactly.
Yua and Ivory.
Because she didn't have the right maxi challenge.
The runway.
The runway.
Her runway was not up to par.
Yeah, and then she struggled in the girl group competition as well. So I would have thought it was Yua's time.
But I think the judges were very clear that they appreciated her perseverance.
Yes.
Which is like, I'm going to keep going. While Ivory, I think, was stumbling and was just a little too nervous for them.
But these are just our opinions.
No, absolutely. And like it's like Vinya said, these queens are beautiful queens, talented queens in their own regard. It's just sometimes in the context of a competition, it gets tough. And it's so easy for us to stand here and talk about whatever we want to,
because we're not the ones in there.
I know we're not in the position, but all of this is said with love. And of course, once you're on a reality TV show, you're like kind of like characters. We're talking about TV show characters, right? Yeah. But these are real people we love and respect all of these queens.
In hindsight, what have we learned in this episode? I'm always about, even learning, if there's...
I think there was a lot of, at least for me, there was a lot of internal reflection on how we represent ourselves as Asian within Asia and outside of Asia. Because that's what I was thinking about. Because these queens, the international queens, their perspective when it came to writing their verses were very external. We are Asian. I'm Vietnamese. I'm going to give you this. This is the food from Thailand. So that's what all of them had on the forefront of their mind. While the queens who were in the Philippines were like, girl, I'm fierce. This is me. And which is the point of the challenge. I think the verses... This is like a mental exercise that I did. Like, for example, let's say we took one of those Filipino queens and put them on an international All-Stars. And we put one of these queens and put them back on their home country. How do you think the verses would have changed or stayed the same? You know what I mean?
It would have changed.
I think for the international queens, it might have been almost pretty much the same. Because I feel like I feel like Siam, whatever season she would have been on, she would have talked about Thailand and maybe the Thai food, Yes. But I think the Filipino queens, like when Marina Summers went outside, she was like, I'm a Filipina. I give you this, and this, right? Exactly. But in the Philippines, she doesn't need to say that.
She doesn't need to, Yeah. I think we also learned about kapwa, the Filipino culture. Also, the difference between individualism and community perspective, and the difference between the two, and the advantage and disadvantages between the two as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was evident with the way that the two groups tackled the girl group challenge.
Exactly. And this has been a good review.
See you again next week for Slaysian
Persuasion. This is Virginia, please.
And I'm Calypso.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Wherever you are. Bye.